Hi, let's enhance our user list component with edit user functionality. So in this video, we are going to demonstrate on how we are going to enhance our user list component with edit feature, and we'll be able to apply some styling also so that the add, edit and the listing of the component looks good. Okay, what are we going to do it? First, we will add an edit button in the user list component. Once the user clicks on edit button, we'll allow the user to edit, and at the same time we are going to pre-populate the data for those corresponding text boxes for the selected user. Then we'll give a provision for the user to update the data, and we'll have some styles applied over there. So once user clicks on save, we'll be calling the corresponding backend put API to go and update the user information. So what we need to do here, we need to manage the state for editing user. So for that we are going to create one edited user, like that one state variable we are going to create it, and whenever we start editing we'll initialize that to default values, and whenever user starts typing those values, yeah, we should be able to go and update those state using the handle change events. Then at the end, when the user says update the user, we are going to invoke that handle update user function, in which we are going to capture the edited user data, and we'll call the backend API to post data to the backend so that it can be updated. So overall it contains handling the editing information, form submission, and then integrating the API to update the user, and we'll have update the state also whenever the data has been updated. So this is what the step-by-step uh, process we are going to add the edit functionality to the user. Let's jump to the demo. Okay, here is our user list component with the display and add feature, and here is our browser which is displaying the users and add functionality. Now we are going to update this component to provide the edit functionality. First, we are going to create a state variable for capturing the editing user. So here we have already have a state for new user. Same way we are going to create a state for editing user. And our next step is we are going to on handle change, we are going and updating the state of a new user. At the same time, what we are going to do here, we are going to check, like if we are editing a user, then we are going to, if we are editing a user, yeah, we are going to update the user information to the edited user, else we are going to update the user information to the new user. Okay, let's go and try to do this. If editing a user, okay, then we'll close, then else we are going to add this new user information updated here. Okay, we'll take this user information and going to update the new user information. So it's very simple. So as we are going to have add functionality and edit functionality together, so if you are editing a user, then we're updating the editing user information. If you're adding a new user, then we are updating the state for those things. So we have two different states. One is for editing the user, another one is for adding a new user. Next, we are going to update our code to add a edit button. Okay, so let's go and try to add a edit button here. So here we are going to have td. So within this we are going to have a button. So what we are going to do, so we are going to have, whenever we have a as a part of this button, on click we are going to have an arrow function where we are going to have handle update the user over there. Okay, we'll have handle edit user. So here we are going to change the like populate the text boxes with the existing information so that user can be updated. So here I'm going to invoke a function called as handle edit user. Okay, we need to go and define the function for that now. Okay, let's go and define the functionality for handle edit user. What exactly we want to do as a part of handle edit user? Whenever we are handling the editing a user, we are trying to update our state variable to whoever the user we are editing. So let's go and try to update our state. Okay, update our state to editing user. So I'll just go and update this to user here. So what exactly we are doing? Whenever user clicks on edit, we are going and calling this set editing user. What exactly the set editing user is going to do? It is going to initialize the editing user information with the whichever the user it is getting edited. Okay. Now we need to do some more changes to this piece of the code. So here this piece is handling only for add case. So we need to modify this feature. If the user is editing, then we will try to pre-populate the user data selected, then we'll have an update button. If it is add, if it is not editing, if it is a add, we will have add button. So overall the functionality of the whether you are doing add or edit, it will remain same. Only thing is if it is edit, we'll pre-populate the data and try to have a update button which will call it different handler. Whereas if it is a add user, we are going to call handle add user. If it is editing user, we are going to call handle update user. If it is a add user, we are going to call the post API. If it is update user, we are going to call the put API. Okay, let's do some small changes. Whenever we are trying to edit a user, we are going to indicate whether he is editing the user or not. So we have this state editing a user. If editing a user, we'll make the title as edit user, and at the same time we have a form on submit. So this is tightly bound to the handle add user. So what exactly we are going to do is we are going to check if the user is if it is editing a user. If it is editing a user, then we'll call handle update user, which we have not defined. We are going to define, else we are going to call the handle add user. Okay, the next thing is here the value we bound to the new user state, but if he is editing, we have another state called as editing user and we need to go and update it. So what exactly we are going to do it, we are again going to check whether we are editing a user, then we are going to bound this value to the editing user email address, else editing user phone number. Okay, so here we are going to do the same thing for the email. So we are going to do the same thing for the phone number. Okay, so here we have email, then we'll have the same thing for the phone number also. We are going to do the same thing. So if he is editing, so we are going to have, this is the phone number. Based upon the flag, we are going to tell whether we are going to update the editing user state or new user state. So we have the same thing for the password. Everything remains same. So we are trying to reuse the functionality of using the same code base of add edit together. Okay, so what we have, so we have the username. Oh, we have to do the same thing for the username field here. So in the username field, what exactly we need to do, so we have to again check whether it's a editing user. We have to go and handle the username field accordingly. So here I'm going to change this to, if it is editing user, we're going to say editing user dot name. So what we have done here, we are checking whether the editing user or not. So when we are going to update as a part of handle edit user, we are updating the set editing user. This is internally goes and sets the user object. If it is by default, it will be null, and when you try to set to a specific user, then to a specific user, then the editing user object is not null, and whenever you are trying to put a ternary operator guarding conditions like editing user and all, it will be true and it will call the corresponding true statement over here. So what we have done, so we have done adding the functionality for handle update user, edit user, we have done the things. And the next statement is we have this button, we are trying to add this button as add user. What exactly we are going to do here, instead of hard coding this as add user, we are going to say if it is editing user, then we can say call this as update user. If not, we can call this as add user. We'll call this as add user. Okay, so we have button type submit, we have checked. Then what exactly we are going to do is, if the user wants to cancel the update, then we have to provide another button. So if the user is in editing mode, and we should be able to provide an option for the user to cancel the operation. So for that, what I'm going to do, I'm going to provide a on click functionality here. Sorry, on click. When the user is going to do that, handle cancel click. So what you should be able to, you should be able to cancel his operation. Okay, handle cancel edit, and I'm going to name this as the cancel. Okay, so I'll say cancel, and we have closed this button. Perfect. So now what we need to do is, we need to go and define this handle update user functionality now. So what exactly we need to do in this code base? So we have to go and define the handle update user functionality. What exactly we are going to do as a part of handle update user? Let's go and try to define handle update user. So in this case, we are going to get the event as an argument. Okay, let's define our functionality. So what exactly we want to do? First, we have to prevent the default action. So we have prevented the default action. Then we need to call the post with whatever the user information we got. Post the user information. So for that, what we are going to do, we have the Axios. So we have Axios, and Axios dot Axios as a method called as put, and we need to pass the URL of the API we need to call. So now if you see, in our case, let's go and try to see what is the URL we are going to do it. So in this case, we have HTTP localhost 5000 API slash users, then forward slash, we are passing the edited user ID. Now if you go and try to look at our server.js code, and you are going to, whenever you want to update, it will be API slash users, then ID. So we have to pass the ID information here. So that is what we are trying to do in our editing user information. Then we need to pass the payload. Yes, that's perfect. Like, what is the user information you want to pass? So as we have already updated our state, we are going to pass the edited information here. And if it is success, then what exactly we are going to do? We are going to get the response here once we have success. So we can check whether it is what is the state of the success and all. Otherwise, what exactly I'm going to do here was, whenever the user has been edited, so what exactly I'm going to do is, I'm going to update the existing user information. Like, I'm going to update the state of the existing. So what exactly I'll do, go to the existing users object and map. So what exactly we are going to do is, as a part of this map method, we are going to identify the user that is getting edited, and for that user we are going to replace the editing user. Whenever we found no, we'll try to give the editing user information, so that your users array is going to display the edited user information here. So very straightforward. So what we are doing is, as a part of the map, we are trying to identify the existing user information, and if it is the ID of the user matches with the editing user ID. What exactly we are going to do, we are going to return the editing user information, editing user, else we are going to return the normal user. So we are trying to create a new user object with the user information, like with the editing user updated in the existing user object, users array over there. And at the same time, what exactly we are going to do, we are going to say set editing user. So now, as we have already done the edited information, we are going to make the set editing user information as null. Then what we are going to do, yeah, we have done this. Then we need to define our catch method also. As a part of this catch, what we are going to do, dot catch. So in this catch, what we are going to do, if there is an error when you are trying to execute, so we are going to log that information. We are saying console.log, and we can say that okay, yes, there is an error in processing the request. So we can say there is an error in updating the user information. Okay, so now we are going to take the error here. Okay, so we are pretty much, we are going to close this, and we are going to close our function. Okay, now if you observe in our code, we are getting an error, handle cancel update is not defined. So what we have done in our here, we have given an option to cancel the editing. So we need to go and define a function for that also. What exactly we are going to do in that function? So we are going to enable the, so when you say handle cancel, it's very straightforward. We are going to update set editing user as null. So if it is null, so then it is treated that okay, yes, it's not treated in edit mode over here. Okay, so now there are no errors in the console. Let's go back and see our output. So here we have the information of the information which has been displayed from our backend API. Let's go and try to edit the second user information. Whenever you go and edit, it is going to populate the selected user information here. Okay, you can go and inspect, look for our user list component, userlist.js. You can go to this edit here. Yeah, handle update the user is there, and again we have the, whenever we clicks on handle edit user, we are going and updating this set editing user information. And again, if you see here in our stuff, if it is editing user, value are binding as editing user dot username, editing user dot email here, so it is email. Okay, otherwise it should be new user dot email. Okay, so we are defining these functions here accordingly. So right, so when you click on edit, what exactly we are doing, we are going and updating the state, and that state is treated for your displaying the information. Let's go, yeah, so let's go and try to edit. So we are going and updating the which user information we are trying to edit, and that information will be populated in our UI. So if you see, we got Jane Doi, and again email address is little different. Yeah, probably you have to check why the email address is not get phone number, password. Let's go and try to see our user list and see how we have updated the fields here. So we have editing user dot username, new user dot username for the fields. Okay, now if you see here, this is what we updated as email, right? Okay, now if you see that, what is the field here? Yeah, we have the email. So let's go and take that as email. Okay, so that should work fine. Then we have the password, editing user dot password. Is the spelling correct for the password? Yes, sorry, we have the password here. Both fields should have the password field. Yes, we have the password. Okay, so now let's go and try to update this information for the password. Okay, sorry, not on change. So the mistake we have done is, should not be on the change, it should be on the value. Okay, that's the one mistake we have done. Yeah, again on the on change, you should just say handle change. That's it. Okay, so let's get back to our UI and try to reload the example here and disable the breakpoints and try to, yeah, so now if you see here, our information has been properly updated. So now if I go and try to edit this user information to GPT. Okay, so I'll just update this user information to GPT. And as we have our console, if you go and try to go to our user list and go to handle update user, we can see our network. We can clear this user information, and when you go and click on update user, we have seen this information has been updated. So if you see here for the edit user information, we have the localhost API root, we have seen the put method, and we have seen even the placeholder also. This is what we are trying to pass, and we got the response as user information is successfully updated in the database, and we are able to see the same information populated over here. Let's do a quick recap on what exactly we have done. So first what we have done, we have created a state for holding the editing user information. That's the first step we have done. Then on handle change, either you are editing a user, then we are going and updating the edit user information. If it is a new user, we are going and updating the new user information. Then we went to our JSX and we added a button to edit the user information, and whenever you click on edit, we are updating our state of the edited user to the user that has been edited. Then based upon the editing user, we are trying to update whether we are editing a user or adding a new user, and we have defined our submit also, whether you need to click on handle update user or handle add users, and we have even changed the value binding also to either editing user or new user. Yeah, so once you click on this submit button, so what exactly it goes and calls the handle update user. In the update user, we are getting the editing user information. We are calling our post method by passing this in the payload. So I'm going to show that again in the debugger window. So let's go to our sources. Yeah, we can go and keep this information. I'll try to edit. So we'll go and try to have gym.charts GPT. So let's go and try to update the user. So we have got the gym.chat DTP information also has been updated over here. Okay. So right, if you see here, we have the axios.post method with editing user information populated here. Okay, let's try to edit this John AI information. So I'll go and try to keep on AI information to chat GPT, and I put a breakpoint at the update user information. Now it has triggered. So now we can see e.prevent default. We are not submitting. So I'm going to clear all these things. And if you go to the sources, I'm going to, yeah, I'm putting the edit, I'm updating the put information, and I'm passing the ID, and I'm passing the editing user information as a payload. So after that, whenever the response comes, yeah, that has been updated successfully, and we are able to update the specific information in the users array, and new user information is getting displayed. Okay, that's it. So we are able to update our user list with the edit functionality. So that's it. So we have updated our user list with the edit functionality, and our, so we thanks for watching. Please stay tuned for we'll be having in our next video, we are going to have the delete functionality updated for the same thing, and at the same time please visit our website for the more videos, and please subscribe to the channel if you liked our video.